Children of strict parents, what was the most ridiculous rule your parents gave you? My dad was very strict. One of my close friends had an older brother and one had an older sister, both of whom had cars and driver's licenses. So it was not uncommon for us to ask one of the older kids to drive us somewhere, the mall, a park, etc. I had several conversations with my dad that went like this. Me, hey dad, me and the guys are going to the mall. Joe's brother is gonna drive us. Dad, when? Me, in like 30 minutes. He's gonna drop us off at the mall and go to his basketball practice and then he'll pick us back up on the way home from basketball practice. Dad, when is basketball practice over? Me, he said it's done at 4:30 and he'll pick us up at 5. So we should be home by 5:30 at the latest. Dad, I want you home by 4:30. Me, Dad, that doesn't make any sense. I just said. Dad, interrupts. If you're not home by 4:30 then I'm calling the police. Me, calls friends. I can't go with you guys to the mall. I bought my first car with my own money at 17, and I wasn't allowed to drive it to school, or work, or anywhere even though I had had my driver's license for a full year prior. My mom would drive me, in my own car places. It was pretty embarrassing and absolutely stupid. She had no rights over your car if it's in your name. My parents read an article in some stupid magazine that you cannot sit in front of the computer for longer than 45 minutes. So they set a rule that I cannot use the computer every hour from, say, 7:45 to 8 o'clock. Every hour. Even if I turned it on at 7:35, I still had to leave the room, so they know I am not using the computer at 7:45. Holy crap. How did I survive? I had no privacy. My parents read through my phone whenever they wanted, which is acceptable to a point I guess. They were paying for it. Looked through my laptop, and even went through my drawers and read any journal or diary that I had. If I got in any trouble they took my bedroom door. I didn't have a bedroom door from the time I was 15 until I moved out at 18. I didn't have a bedroom door from the time I was 15 until I moved out at 18. That's a lot of trouble. Not being allowed to wear tie-dye multi-colored clothes because it was representing the gays. Hit me with that gay crap. All children of strict parents know this. You should socialize more. You are always in your room on your computer. Can I go out with friends then? No. Definitely this. My mom is exactly that. I wasn't allowed to cross the street without an adult until I was 15. If I was going to hang out with friends, my mom would call their parents to make sure that we wouldn't be walking anywhere, so that I wouldn't be crossing streets. At the time I thought it was weird but cute that she worried for me so much. Now it's just incomprehensible to me. Curfew at 4 in high school, but also they wanted me to join all the clubs, which ended at 4. Got grounded a lot. Sounds like entrapment. If I said a word too much, and it started to annoy my mom, she would consider it a curse word. If I said it, I'd be punished as if I'd said one too. I remember I picked up the word nasty from Watch That So Raven. Particularly hard to not say that one. We were not allowed to speak in the car, at the dinner table, or anywhere near her really. I wasn't allowed to swallow too loud, but because I couldn't learn how to not swallow without sound I just never drank around her. 80s and school projects were not allowed. She never praised me, only told me I could do better. I remember crying when I got a high 80 in my world history class in 8th grade. It had been the highest in the class. But what really takes the cake for this one is in elementary school. I was up for getting an award at school, but the longer the award ceremony went on the more irritated I saw my mom get. I remember thinking I was going to get into so much trouble because she was here, but I wasn't getting an award. I was so relieved when I was finally called up that I didn't even care that I got the freaking gold presidential award. I have a lot more stories like this. My mom really messed me up. Oh my gosh. To be anxious and afraid of getting in trouble when you're getting a prestigious award. Geez, I'm sorry. We were allowed to have diaries, but we had to let our parents read them if they asked. As a result, we did not keep diaries, because they would always ask to read them. I kept a false diary full of boring crap. They also have a very selective view of privacy. Locking doors meant we were up to no good, and they would routinely barge into us in places like the bathroom. When we told them to get out, they could not understand why we were upset. FTR. Mine and my sister's bathroom does not have a lock on it. They also would selectively enforce the rules. Telling was when they were doing something bad or malicious. Tattling was when you told to get them in trouble. Naturally, my sister would do something mean to me, i.e., made an opening night play with very mean things being said about me, and when I told them, I got in trouble for tattling. But when I wrote in my diary the mean things my sister said, she read it and told, it was telling because writing those things is very mean, crazy. Whoa, man, that's abuse, kinda. My boyfriend's parents didn't allow us to be alone together in a house for a couple years into our relationship. We were adults and they had this rule. However, we were both away from college so they didn't have full control. So what did they do? They tracked my boyfriend's phone at night and thus they'd catch him for spending the night at my dorm. That didn't go over too well, so he started leaving his phone at his dorm at night. Although not the strictest rule by far, the one that affected me the most socially was not being allowed at TV or media until 16/17, and even then it was very basic cable and Disney Channel. I was fascinated by Good Luck Charlie at 18 because it was the first show I'd ever watched. This really affected my relationships and estranged me from the other kids. At 23 I'm still learning about basic A-list celebrities and movies like Godfather and Titanic. The entire entertainment industry feels like Pandora's box. Probably not that strict, but my mum would never let me have those candy stick things because they encourage smoking. If anything, seeing her go into the back garden for a cigarette a couple of times a day encouraged me to smoke, not some sugar stick. Also, if anyone's from the UK and remembers the children's TV program Tracy Beaker, I wasn't allowed to watch that because it was a bad image of what foster homes were really like. Yeah, IDK either. No going outside unless given permission. For my own yard. No eating anything unless given permission. No watching WWE because it does not depict real wrestling. No cutting hair above chin because it looks gay. No dyeing hair unnatural colors because it looks gay. For me specifically, no dyeing hair at all because I have red hair and your hair is rare, so don't ruin it. Of all the reasons a parent would tell you not to watch WWE, not being true to the athletic competition of wrestling is a strange one. She didn't let me hang out or associate with anyone who I went to school with. Only people from church who I didn't get along with. My mom once yelled at me in the car, in front of my friends, for not wanting to use a blanket when I slept at night. It was summer. She said I had to because it was her job as a mother to raise me to be civilized. That doesn't actually make you civilized. You're just going undercover. I don't remember what I did, but I had to look at my opened Christmas presents for 6 months and wasn't allowed to actually open their packaging. We weren't allowed to watch any new cartoons because they had a vulgar art style because it would supposedly corrupt our brains. I don't know too many examples because I couldn't really watch them. Also, any show with a couple dating or anybody having a boyfriend or girlfriend was a no-no, probably, so we didn't get the idea to wanna date someone at school. We were basically stuck watching Nick Jr., the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons on Boomerang, RIP, and a few Disney sitcoms like Good Luck Charlie. No Pokemon because it teaches evolution and because the Pokemon are supposed to be metaphorical demons. The same went for Skylanders. Oh, you have money? You wanna buy something? Well, you can't, because it's like 5 months before Christmas and you'll be getting stuff then. Wouldn't wanna spoil those presents, do you? My parents locked the fridge with a chain. I was not allowed to ask for a certain present. My parents decided what I received for Christmas, Easter, birthday. You know how you are supposed to write a letter to Santa or the Easter Bunny or whatever with whatever toy, book, sweets etc you would really like to get? I wasn't allowed to do those. My parents forbid me to ask for anything because they know better what I need, so I should be grateful for whatever gift they thought was good for me. It was usually clothes, school stuff, sweets and a few cheap toys. One time we had to write Santa a letter as an assignment in class and the teacher promised us she'll pass it on to Santa. I was really excited because I thought I could cheat my parents and tell Santa what I really wanted to get. I asked for some stupid game that was really popular back then, a Barbie and a lot of chocolate. Turns out that the teacher gave the cards to our parents. Christmas morning I woke up to find absolutely nothing under the tree. I spent all morning, until my parents woke up, searching for my present until they said that greedy children don't receive any gifts. I haven't asked for crap since then. I'd rather receive clothes and books than nothing at all. Your parents are buttholes and don't deserve any relationship with you. We had a paid trip to Disneyland with a band, but we weren't allowed to go because Disney supports homosexuality. We cold drink out of bottles with a spigot thing coming out of the bottle because it could set us up for later. I couldn't go to the football dinners every Thursday before the game because there were girls there. I invited a girl to church and was told to make up an excuse why we couldn't get her. The idea was that I would be thinking about the girl more than God. We weren't allowed to have sugar because apparently we went brain dead after we ate it. Girls couldn't bring in wood for the wood stove because it could hurt their baby makers. Can't go to Disneyland because anti-gay, but God forbid you go someplace where girls are present. Fassapum. Spanking was an acceptable punishment until I left for college. I'm 26 and my mom has threatened to spank me a couple times in the last year. No pants allowed. Good girls only wear dresses or skirts. I wasn't allowed to go to the bathroom by myself till I was teenagers. I wasn't allowed to talk to boys my age. But our creepy pastor could have as much one-on-one time with me as he wanted because Jesus. That is creepy. I wasn't allowed to use the word hate. Imagine the peril when I had to spell it in kindergarten. Same. I was left yelling, "I strongly dislike you," at my brother. My father had a strict rule of no girlfriends until you're 18. Annoying because I was a teen. Like, I was still going to go like people and his barely present self wasn't going to stop me. Dunno what his problem was with that. Joke's on him. Get a boyfriend instead. Improvise. Adapt. Overcome. A friend of mine wasn't allowed to see Are We There Yet at the movies with us because it was rated PG. We were 12. As a 17-year-old, I wasn't allowed to have anyone besides them in the car with me. I'm not sure what they thought that would accomplish, but I broke the heck out of that rule. My mom took away my cell phone and house keys throughout all of high school with the logic that since I didn't have a means of communication I would come home straight after school. Instead I would either have to wait at my friend's house for like 3 hours till they came home and they would freak out when they found out I was at a friend's place. I wasn't allowed to sit on my bed. It would crease the covers. I was supposed to make my friend sit on the mattress after I'd pull the covers back, but kids are dirty so I just let them crease my covers and took the aftermath of shouting after they'd left. My late stepmom wouldn't allow me to sit on my bed either. I would sit on the floor to do homework. To be fair, the comforter was custom made and very expensive. Not allowed to go trick-or-treating. Never went trick-or-treating in my whole life. Yup, same. Halloween was evil. Fart was a swear. Watching some film with my parents in the living room, my mom held potato chips over my eyes to stop me from seeing boobies. I was 13. I was also not interested. My then father physically pushed me around because I left wet cutlery to dry next to the sink instead of drying it with a towel. Later on he started labeling the milk cartons in the fridge to enforce a quota system. I was paid one whole shiny Canadian dollar. That's loony. There was a rule where I had to get up 2 hours before school. It only took me all of 10 minutes to get ready, and then another 10 to walk to school. This rule ended getting me kicked out of my house. My stepmom came in to wake me up. I said I wanted to sleep a little longer. She went and told my dad that I was refusing to go to school and that I was being disrespectful. Dad came in with a belt, beat my butt awake, threw me outside, middle of a Midwestern winter, and told me to walk to school. I had on a sports bra, shorts, no shoes or backpack. I didn't even have my glasses. So I cooled off for a minute and knocked on the door to see if I could get ready for real now. We got into a heated argument after he wouldn't let me in, and I ended up getting choked out on my front lawn. I had to bite the ever-living frick out of his shoulder to get him off. My dad was an abusive butthole, and the public school did not give a frick. I had gone to the cops before with bruises, a fat lip from stepmom breaking a hairbrush on my face, etc. Nothing ever happened. I had a black eye, bruises around my neck, and scratched from the branches on the ground from when I was being choked. I went to the resource officer again, and they went to my dad's house and he claimed I attacked him, and they believed him for whatever freaking reason. Probably less paperwork for them. I was kicked out of the house when I got home. I was 16ish and on my own. Thank freaking God. Not me, but I had a friend whose dad was so strict, and anytime a child broke a rule, one thing of theirs would get broken or thrown away. My friend, high schooler 17 at the time, had a laptop he bought with his own money. He was past curfew one night and his dad broke his laptop with a hammer. I still feel sad about it to this day. I hate parents like that. I had a friend whose dad made us come pick him up if he was to stay at a friend's house for the night, despite him being able to drive at 16. Once he turned 18, even though he didn't legally have a curfew, his car had a curfew, so again we had to follow him home so he could drop off his car. Kind of annoying. You have been visited by the strong skeleton. He wants you to like this video and have a good week. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day, you magnificent people.